Dogs know things we don't. They sense frequencies we can't hear, smell chemicals we can't detect, perceive threats our rational minds dismiss as impossible. When your dog, a trained search and rescue animal that's worked hundreds of missions without hesitation, suddenly refuses to cross a tree line, plants all four paws and whines like you're asking them to walk into fire, you should listen. I didn't listen, and that's how I learned why animals have instincts humans have forgotten. My name is Thomas Sequoyah, and I'm a canine handler for the North Carolina Forest Service working in and around Nantahala National Forest. My partner is a 6-year-old German Shepherd named Bear, best tracker I've ever worked with. My grandmother was Cherokee, and she used to tell me about the raven mockers, shapeshifters that wore human skin but moved wrong, smelled wrong, felt wrong. Dogs always know, she'd say. They can smell the rot underneath the disguise. September 2024. A family of 4, the Peterson party from Atlanta, had been reported missing on the Appalachian Trail section running through Nantahala. Michael Peterson, 38, his wife Lauren, 36, and their 2 kids, Emma, and Jack, 9. Experienced hikers, all the right gear, GPS beacons that had gone dark 3 days ago at coordinates 35.2847 Deegan, 83.6421 DUW. Bear and I were part of the search team. We started at their last known campsite, everything abandoned but intact. Food still in bear bags, tent set up, sleeping bags laid out. But something felt wrong. The temperature was normal for September in the Smokies, mid-70s, but I was cold, bone-deep cold that didn't match the weather. Bear wouldn't approach the tent. He sat 20 feet away, hackles up, making a sound I'd never heard from him. A low, continuous whine mixed with a growl. Not his "I smell a bear" alert or his "I found something" bark. This was pure distress. "Bear, search," I commanded. He looked at me, whined louder, and backed up. "Thomas, your dog okay?" my supervisor Elena asked over the radio. "He's acting strange, won't approach the campsite." "Weather change coming?" "Some dogs sense storms." I checked my phone. Clear skies forecast for 3 days. Negative. Something else is bothering him. I moved closer to the tent. The smell hit me, sweet rot mixed with something chemical, like formaldehyde. But there was no visible decay, no dead animals, nothing that would produce that scent. The tent flap was open. Inside, I could see the Petersons' belongings neatly arranged. Too neatly, like someone had staged it. Bear was now 30 feet back, pulling on his lead, trying to get away from the campsite. Every muscle in his body was tense, eyes wide, ears flat. In 6 years of working together, I'd never seen him this scared. "It's okay, buddy," I said, though I didn't believe it myself, because I felt it too now, a wrongness that bypassed rational thought and went straight to primal instinct. The forest was too quiet. No birds, no insects, just oppressive silence and that terrible smell. I found the first sign at the edge of the clearing. Tracks, human-shaped, bare feet, adult-sized. But the pressure points were wrong. The weight distribution suggested someone walking on the balls of their feet and toes, not heel first like humans do, and the stride length was too long, 7 feet between prints. You'd have to be over 9 feet tall to walk like that naturally. Bear whined louder. He was now pulling so hard on his lead that his collar was choking him. "Okay, okay," I said, letting him pull me back. We retreated to the marked trail where other search team members were coordinating. Bear immediately calmed down once we were 50 yards from that campsite, but he kept looking back, watching. Elena called a meeting. 6 of us, all experienced search and rescue. "We need to expand the search grid. Thomas, take Bear and work the North Ridge. Look for any signs they moved uphill." "Elena, my dog won't go back there. Something's wrong with that campsite." "Your dog is a tool, Thomas. A very expensive, well-trained tool. If he's not working properly, we'll bench him and—" The scream cut her off. High-pitched, terrified, a child's voice. Emma or Jack, coming from the forest to the east, away from the official trails. We all ran. Bear ran too, but in the wrong direction, away from the scream. I had to drag him, and he fought me every step, yelping, trying to break free. Other team members' dogs were doing the same thing. 6 trained search animals, all refusing to go toward a child's cry for help. Help! Somebody help us! The voice was closer now. Please, it's got Mom. It's got my dad. We reached a small clearing, and there they were, Emma and Jack Peterson, standing in the center, arms out, calling for help. But they weren't moving right. The voices came from them, but didn't match their lip movements, like bad dubbing. And their eyes were wrong, too fixed, unblinking, staring without focusing. Bear went insane, not barking, screaming, a sound I didn't know dogs could make. Pure terror translated into noise. Kids, it's okay, we're here to help, Elena called out, moving forward. I grabbed her arm. No, look at your dog. Her Belgian Malinois was doing what Bear was doing, backing away, whimpering, trying desperately to leave. 5 other search dogs, all showing the same absolute refusal to approach the children. Dogs always know, my grandmother's voice echoed in my memory. Elena, those aren't the kids. Thomas, you're not making... The Emma thing's head rotated 180 degrees, still facing us while the body remained forward. The Jack thing's jaw unhinged, dropping far too low, revealing too many teeth. Come help us, they said in unison, voices overlapping, no longer pretending to be children. Come into the forest. We're so lost. We need you. Elena stumbled backward. Other rangers were pulling their weapons, shouting into radios. And the things wearing Emma's and Jack's faces started moving toward us. But the movement was all wrong, limbs bending at joints that didn't exist, feet barely touching the ground, gliding rather than walking. Bear broke his collar, just snapped the reinforced leather and ran. The other dogs followed, 6 highly trained search animals abandoning their handlers and fleeing in the same direction, away from the raven mockers, away from the things that had taken the Peterson family and were now trying to take us. Fall back, Elena screamed. Everybody fall back. We ran. Protocol, training, everything went out the window. We just ran, following the dogs who knew better than we did what we were running from. Behind us, the child voices kept calling, getting closer despite our speed, overlapping into a chorus of Emma and Jack saying, help us, in every possible inflection. We burst back onto the marked trail. The moment we crossed some invisible boundary, the voices stopped. The temperature normalized. Birds started singing again. And all 6 dogs were waiting for us, sitting in a precise line facing the forest, hackles still up, growling at something only they could sense. I found Bear and checked him over. He was fine physically, but his eyes, he looked at me like I'd betrayed him, like I'd tried to lead him into something he knew was death. What the hell was that? Elena gasped. Raven mockers, I said. Cherokee legend. They take the form of the living and dying, wear their faces to lure others into the forest. My grandmother said they feed on years of life, steal them away, leave empty husks wearing human shapes. That can't be real. Tell that to the paws. We called in the incident, got reinforcements, armed teams, everything. Searched that area for a week. Found the Peterson family on day 9, or what was left of them. They were sitting in a circle in a cave system that shouldn't have existed on any geological survey, about 5 miles from their campsite. Still alive, but empty. Eyes open, breathing, but nobody home. Medical couldn't explain it. No brain damage, no drugs, no physical trauma. They just weren't there anymore. Living vegetables that occasionally moved their mouths like they were trying to speak, but producing no sound. The kids, Emma and Jack, they found separately, or rather, they found themselves. Walked out of the forest 3 days after the parents were recovered, both completely normal, remembering nothing after the first night in the tent. Medical cleared them, psych cleared them, they went home with relatives. But I've seen the photos, recent ones. Emma and Jack Peterson, now living with their aunt in Florida. And in every single photo, if you look closely at their eyes, they don't reflect light quite right, and their shadows fall at the wrong angle, even when everyone else's shadows are correct. The dogs knew. They tried to tell us. Bear refused to let me lead him into that forest because he could smell what those things really were under the stolen skin, could sense the wrongness that human rational minds are too sophisticated to detect. Here's what keeps me up at night. After the incident, I took Bear back to our regular training grounds. He was fine, performed perfectly, until I tried to take him past the Nantahala Forest boundary again. Same reaction, planted feet, whining, absolute refusal. But now other dogs are doing it too, not just search and rescue, pet dogs on hikes with their families, hunting dogs that have worked those woods for generations. Something has changed in Nantahala. Something is claiming territory. And every dog that approaches the tree line knows it. Last month, a family from Tennessee reported their golden retriever, the most gentle dog you can imagine, attacked them when they tried to enter a specific trailhead, bit the father's arm, knocked the mother down, physically prevented the children from leaving the car. Animal control was called. The dog was going to be put down for aggressive behavior. I intervened, took Bear there. Same trailhead, same reaction. Bear wouldn't go 20 feet down that trail, and when I tried to force him, he looked at me with such betrayal and terror that I stopped. I examined the area, found barefoot tracks with wrong pressure points, found trees with bark stripped at 15 feet high, found a circle of stones that shouldn't exist, each one carved with symbols that predated Cherokee, predated any human language. The golden retriever was right. The family would have walked into something that wore stolen faces and stole years of life. Their dog tried to save them by becoming the monster they feared more than the ones hiding in the forest. I reported all of this, filed documentation, recommended closing certain areas. My report was denied, marked as unreliable due to stress and cultural bias. That's what they called my grandmother's wisdom, cultural bias. But rangers know now. The unofficial protocol: if your dog won't enter Nantahala Forest in certain areas, don't ask why. Just listen. Dogs sense what humans have forgotten, that some forests are claimed by things older than names, older than trails, older than the boundary between living and wearing the shape of living. And when something claims territory, it marks that territory, uses the faces of what it catches as warnings and lures, uses the voices of victims to draw more victims, uses the years it steals to extend its own existence across centuries. The Peterson parents are still alive in medical facilities, breathing, eyes open, but gone. The kids are gone too, even if they're walking and talking in Florida. Whatever came back wearing their shapes passes for human, but isn't human. And sometime in the future, those Emma and Jack-shaped things will have children of their own, spreading whatever they've become into the wider world. This started in Nantahala, but it's spreading. Other forests reporting similar incidents, other dogs refusing trails they've walked their entire lives, other search teams finding victims that are alive but empty, or finding nothing at all except footprints with wrong weight distribution. If your dog won't enter a forest, won't cross a tree line, plants their feet, and refuses despite all training, listen to them. They're not being stubborn or scared for no reason. They sense what we've trained ourselves not to see. They smell what we've convinced ourselves doesn't exist. Animals remember what humans have forgotten, that we're not alone in these woods, that some things wear faces that aren't theirs, that some territories are claimed by entities that view humans as resources to harvest, years of life to steal, shapes to wear. Dogs know this. Dogs have always known this. And when they refuse to lead you into danger, they're not failing their training. They're trying desperately to save your life. Bear still works with me, still the best tracker in the service. But I never take him past certain boundaries anymore. Never ask him to ignore his instincts for my human certainty, because the dogs are right. And every search team that's lost handlers in Nantahala, and there have been 5 in the past year, lost them because someone insisted on following protocol instead of following their dog's refusal to proceed. Listen to your dogs. They sense what we've forgotten. They remember what we've dismissed as myth. And when they won't enter the forest, it's not because they're afraid of trees. It's because they can smell the raven mockers wearing stolen faces, waiting just past the tree line, calling for help in voices that used to belong to people who made the mistake of not listening to their dogs.